Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson reunite secretly in Paris. What really happened that night? Hollywood's most talked about reunion. Paris, the city of love, just witnessed an unlikely reunion. After months of heartbreak, silence, and private lives, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson were spotted together in Paris, sparking outrage around the world and raising questions fans thought had long been buried. Witnesses say the former 50 Shades of Grey co-stars, whose on-screen chemistry defined a generation of love, were seen meeting privately at the Hotel Costas, one of Paris' most exclusive and luxurious hotels. They arrived separately late in the evening, a source told Paris Match. But once inside, they were enjoying wine together, smiling, and there was an energy that couldn't be faked. It felt unfinished. Within hours, the internet had exploded. Was this a friendly reunion, or the start of something that never really ended? The inevitable past. To understand the shock, we have to look back. Just a few months ago, Jamie Dornan made international headlines when he returned to his family, wife Amelia Warner and children, after what insiders described as a gentle but final split from Dakota. A mixture of heartbreak and relief, Dakota opened up in an emotional interview that brought the world to tears. She called their relationship realistic but impossible, and admitted that leaving him felt like losing a part of myself. "I knew I had to let him go," she said at the time. "But love doesn't go away just because it hurts." So when the world saw them together again, in the most romantic city in the world, the line between finality and destiny suddenly blurred. Inside the secret meeting. According to exclusive reports, Jamie arrived in Paris 2 days before Dakota for what his team described as business meetings related to an upcoming film. Meanwhile, Dakota was in Paris for a Gucci fashion campaign. But fate, or perhaps something more, brought them to the same city at the same time. Sources close to both stars confirm that the meeting was planned, not coincidental. They've been exchanging texts for weeks, an insider revealed. Dakota wants clarity. Jamie wants peace. They both knew this had to happen in person. At 9:42 p.m., Dakota was seen entering the Hotel Costas through a side entrance, wearing a long beige coat and dark sunglasses. Jamie is said to have arrived a few minutes later. For 2 hours, the couple were in a private waiting room. There was no drama, said a staff member. There was no arguing or crying. It was very quiet, intimate, like two people finally saying things they couldn't say before. When they emerged after midnight, Jamie appeared emotional, his eyes red as he hugged Dakota tightly before getting into a black car. Dakota stayed behind, visibly shaken but calm. "It wasn't like a reunion of lovers," said another witness. "It was more like a goodbye between soulmates," Jamie told friends. In the days that followed, Jamie quietly returned to London. Close friends described him as sad but relieved, as if a burden had been lifted. He said he needed to see her, not to rehash the past, but to find closure, said a friend. "He told us, I owe her that conversation. We both owe each other." Others, however, are not so sure. A producer who recently worked with Jamie said, "The ending is not like Paris. If it really ended, they could have met anywhere. But they chose the city where love reigns." Dakota's perspective, an unsent letter. A few days later, sources close to Dakota revealed that she wrote a private letter after the encounter, one she never sent. The letter reportedly began with the following words: "Paris was supposed to be our goodbye, but somehow it felt like a beginning we'll never have." She went on to write about the strange peace she felt when she saw him again, the man she'd loved and let go of. "You still look at me that way, Jamie, like no years have passed. But now I know that love doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes it means leaving." According to her assistant, Dakota kept the letter in a copy of 50 Shades freed on her bookshelf. Hollywood reacts: shock, hope and heartbreak. The Paris encounter divided the entertainment industry overnight. Headlines read: Jamie and Dakota, last night in Paris? Dornan's double life? Fans question his marriage again. The reunion that rocked Hollywood's hearts. Meanwhile, social media was a whirlwind of emotion. Fans flooded their timelines with theories, romantic tributes, and even short, heavily edited clips of their story. "They will never be apart," one user wrote on X. "Some bonds are too deep to fade. I cried watching them in Paris. Real or not, they will always be Christian and Anna to me," another added. Amelia's silence. Back in London, Amelia Warner has remained silent in public. But those close to her say she knew about the encounter. Jamie told her before he left, a source revealed. He didn't want to keep it a secret any longer. Amelia was hurt, of course, but she also understood. She knows that closure can sometimes heal what the truth has broken. The emotional damage, however, remains. Friends say Amelia is focusing on her children and her music, channeling her emotions into new songs about forgiveness and the pain of letting go. "She's stronger than people think," an insider said. "But she's human, and seeing old ghosts resurface is never easy." What really happened that night? So what did Jamie and Dakota really talk about? While no direct quotes have been confirmed, multiple insiders have pieced together their emotional conversation. They talked about the past, the bad things, the misunderstandings, a source said. There were tears. Jamie told her he never stopped caring, and Dakota told him she stopped waiting. At one point, Jamie is said to have apologized for everything, the timing, the silence, the mixed signals. "You don't deserve to be misunderstood," he whispered. In response, Dakota is said to have replied, "I just want you to be happy, even if it's not with me." The next morning, Dakota was seen walking alone along the Seine, wearing sunglasses and holding a cup of coffee. Photographers captured the moment, her puzzled expression, her slow steps, her elegant but heavy posture. "She looked peaceful but sad," said a passerby, "like someone who has finally accepted that the dream must end." Meanwhile, Jamie boarded the flight back to London. He didn't stop for reporters to take pictures. He didn't smile, but when a paparazzi asked, "Is this goodbye?" he just nodded. Love never ends. Industry observers have since described their Paris reunion as a full-circle moment. "It's not surprising," said film critic Marin Doyle. "It's a very human emotion. Two people who loved each other so much, finally letting go." And though the rumors of their love have died down, something about that night remains. A reminder that not all endings are cold. Some are warm, quiet, and necessary. Last words, the city remembers. A few weeks later, a fan visiting Paris left a handwritten note outside the Hotel Costas. It read, "To Jamie and Dakota, for proving that love doesn't have to last forever to be true." The letter quickly went viral, shared by thousands who followed their journey from passion to heartbreak, from silence to a final night of sincerity. As one journalist summed it up perfectly, "They didn't rekindle the flame, they cherished it. And in doing so, they closed the door on themselves and the millions who believed in them." Final thoughts. When asked if she had any regrets, Dakota told Variety, "No, because what we had was the truth. And the truth, no matter how short, is always beautiful." In another interview a few weeks later, Jamie simply said, "Paris reminded me that some love stories never end. They just change shape." And with those words, the world finally understood. Their love story was never a scandal, it was a lesson. Love can be intense, imperfect, and unforgettable, even if it doesn't last.